The green numbers on the microwave glowed 11:47 p.m. I remember that moment vividly because I had been staring at those digits for nearly 20 minutes, waiting for the familiar rattle of a key turning in the front door lock. My wife, Claire, had sent a message hours earlier. It was a short, distracted text at 6 p.m. saying she was staying late for a spontaneous team dinner downtown. Standard corporate life in the city. But as midnight drew closer, the silence in our living room began to feel like a living thing, heavy and suffocating against my chest. I called her once, then again. Both calls went straight to that hollow, mechanical voicemail greeting. Her phone was off. That was the first visible crack in the foundation of my trust. Claire never let her phone die. She was the type of person who carried a portable charger in her purse specifically to avoid being unreachable. By 1 a.m., my concern had transformed into a low, vibrating panic. I paced the length of our narrow hallway, my mind inventing every possible nightmare. I pictured a terrible accident on the rain-soaked highway or a violent mugging in the dim parking garage near her office. Eventually, I called local hospitals, my voice shaking as I described her height, hair color, and the dark blue dress she had worn that morning. "No one matching that description has been admitted tonight," the night nurse said calmly. I should have felt relieved, but instead a cold, oily feeling settled deep in my stomach. If she wasn't lying in a hospital bed, where was she? At 3 a.m., I did something I had never done in our 7 years of marriage. I logged into our shared bank account. My hands shook so badly I entered the password incorrectly twice. When the page finally loaded, the truth hit me like a punch to the chest. There was a pending charge from 10:15 p.m. at Russo's, an upscale Italian restaurant downtown. $212. Then another charge appeared at 11:30 p.m. $485 at the Meridian. The Meridian was a luxury hotel located only 5 blocks from her office. The air left my lungs. People don't go to the Meridian for a casual team dinner. They go there to escape their everyday lives. I sat on the edge of our bed, the blue glow of my phone lighting the darkness around me. Then I opened Instagram. My thumb hovered over the search bar before I typed in the name of her youngest coworker, a guy named Julian who frequently appeared in her office stories. 3 hours earlier, he had posted a candid photo. The image was blurry, showing a long mahogany table covered with expensive wine glasses and half-eaten plates of pasta. And there, at the far end of the table, sat Claire. She wasn't surrounded by a large team. She was sitting close to a man I had met only once at a company holiday party, her creative director, Marcus. His hand rested confidently on her shoulder, and she was leaning toward him, laughing in a way I hadn't seen in months. The caption read, "The best nights are always the ones that never end." A wave of nausea hit me so hard I had to grip the nightstand to stay upright. I wasn't looking at a work gathering. I was looking at the documented beginning of a disappearance. The next 4 hours passed in a frozen trance. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just started packing. I pulled the large leather suitcase down from the top shelf of the closet, the same suitcase we had taken to Italy for our 5th wedding anniversary. Then I began folding my clothes with terrifying precision. Every item felt like it belonged to a dead man. The wool sweater she had given me for Christmas. The navy suit I wore to her sister's wedding. 7 years of shared memories compressed into a black nylon bag. At exactly 6 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text message. "I stayed at a hotel. We need to talk." 7 words. The same number of years we had been married. I didn't respond. I kept packing. That was when I realized I had been choosing blindness for months. I had ignored the expensive new perfumes, the sudden obsession with early morning gym sessions, the way she locked her phone every time she walked into another room. I had traded sharp intuition for the false comfort of a lie. When noon arrived, I heard the heavy front door open downstairs. I remained seated on the edge of the bed beside my packed luggage. Her heels clicked rhythmically across the hardwood floor before suddenly stopping. She had seen my car in the driveway. She knew I was home. When she entered the bedroom, she was still wearing the same outfit from the Instagram photo. Her hair was disheveled. Her eyes were rimmed with red. "You're packing," she whispered. "I know about the Meridian." I kept my eyes away from her. I couldn't bear to look directly at her face. "I know about the dinner," I said, "and I know about Marcus." She didn't deny it. Instead, she slowly sank to the floor, her back against the doorframe. "It was a mistake," she sobbed. "I felt disconnected. I felt lonely. The pressure from work, the way we've been drifting apart." She swallowed hard. "He made me feel seen again." I finally looked at her. "He made you feel seen?" My voice shook with anger. "So you decided to make me invisible?" The numbness was beginning to crack. "You planned this, Claire. You booked a $500 hotel room while I was calling hospitals, terrified that you were dead." I shook my head. "That isn't a mistake. That's a choice." Silence filled the room. She tried to explain her unhappiness, claiming my quiet nature had pushed her away. It was the familiar script every betrayer reaches for when the truth catches up. "I still love you," she said, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. "Love is a verb, Claire," I said quietly. "It's something you do, not something you suddenly feel when you're bored." I stood and grabbed the handle of my suitcase. "I'm going to my brother's." Then I looked at her one final time. "Don't call me." As I walked past her, the scent of her perfume filled the air. It smelled like a stranger. I left through the front door without looking back. I got into my car and drove. The city blurred past my windows, a gray smear of concrete and rain. Strangely, I felt free. The worst had already happened. 2 hours later, I pulled into a quiet rest stop and shut off the engine. For a long moment, I sat there in silence. Then I finally let the tears come, not for her, but for the version of us I had believed was real. I called my brother, told him I was close, and started the car again. The road ahead was long, but for the first time in a very long while, I was finally heading in the right direction.